Ready as I'm gonna be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fourth Wall. I am the scumbag superstar Paul Slater alongside my podcast partner, BK. And Z is not with us today, but BK, you've been putting posts up, biggest nightmare pose, all this stuff. So, I don't know if you did this to me on purpose, whatever.
Well, I mean, come on, Paul. I mean, everybody knows you got the biggest mouth when it comes to anything in SLWC. We know that we know that one of the individuals we have sitting here is one of your biggest supporters. We also know that the other individual is also one of your biggest haters, so to speak, even though it's done completely out of love. Yes, I did this to you on purpose because I want to see you squirm because of all the other times that, I've been broken down. But ladies and gentlemen, today we had the privilege of having two of the most prolific women's staples in the women's professional wrestling division, NSL. And yes, they are controlled by the same person, but just like I do with myself and Insidious, they are able to separate them. So we had the one and only, the very lovely Kimberly Smith with us, and the alter ego, Abby, the Ringmaster Tude. Ladies, welcome to the show.
The first time ever.
Hi, Paul, you wanker.
Hey, people used to think, let me set the record straight real quick before we even start this. People would think like that would bother me. I loved it. Let's just be honest. I loved it.
Right. I'll get into it straight away, shall I, about it? Give address why we nicknamed this episode.
Might as well. You might as well.
Right. So, Fusion Pro Wrestling was a thing. I took a break from Abby, but I went to the shows with Kim. And because Paul plays the heel, and he's a great heel commentator, don't get me wrong, brilliant. And because FPW was set in the UK, so it's British, I decided, let's give him a British insult, shall we? Because of that. And I picked wanker, and I called him a wanker for that show. I went back the next week. Next thing I know, Stuart Wolf is handing me a voice gesture of wanker chant.
Yeah. Everybody be calling me, hitting that voice gesture for the whole pre-show.
and he said, start handing it out. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, why not? And it stuck.
I mean, I played like I hated it. I played like I hated it, but I actually loved it.
There was a week that I was there, and he just handed me the voice gesture, and I was there, and it stuck. He even asked me to play it one time for a story, didn't you, Paul?
Yeah, I think you might. Yeah, But the one where you and I did, BK, when I was freaking out. That one.
The whole. Oh yeah, no, but it was always great because Paul. Being the true character that he is, would always play into it, basically telling you to go bugger off in your language, go bugger off, and things like you just, it was great. It was a whole lot of fun watching the banner between you two was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
but we're not here about that. We're here about you today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I loved doing it as well and providing a little bit of fun because, as you can probably hear, I'm British. Also, full disclosure. Yeah, I am a male. I don't care if this is breaking kayfabe for you. Oh well.
Nah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We've never done that on this. We've never done that on this show.
Yeah,
we've never done that here. Oh my God, she has now done something very quote unquote wall breaking. Okay, so okay, go ahead.
What do you want first?
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started like we do with everybody. There's always a story behind how we all became fans of professional wrestling before we got into SL to wrestle. So we got to know how did your fascination? How did you become a fan of professional wrestling?
Right, so I'll give a little bit about me anyway, and get this stuff out of the way. I am a youngerish person. I'm in my upper 20s by now, upper mid 20s area. Born 97. I can't remember what year it was. I'm mostly a bus and train enthusiast. I have autism and ADHD. I don't mind admitting to that. I randomly got bought some wrestling figures by my grandparents. So I ended up looking at it and then started watching, went away for a bit and then started watching again. And that is honestly what happened.
Do you remember which figures they were?
I believe they were a Triple H and an Edge. And I believe it was a ring that you put in the that you could put in the bath in the water and had a trap door and stuff. Weirdly.
Okay.
I have no clue why it had a trap door in the middle of the ring.
Okay, so we can safely say your grandparents got you started.
Unintentionally, but there's that. I'm mostly a bus and train person and stuff, and I randomly got these things and didn't know what to do with them. Ended up seeing it and kind of got into it.
It's one of the things. Oops, sorry. It's we've had a lot of guests on here at BK, and I don't want to put a percentage on it, but let's just say more than half the people that we brought on here, it's always their grandparents getting them into wrestling. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah, I'm one of them. Yeah, there's more. I mean, a lot of guests always say, I was watching my grandmother or grandfather. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Which tells you what? We had some cool ass grandparents, and we just didn't realize it at the time. Okay, so your grandparents get you the wrestling figures, and that intrigued you, as you just said, to actually try to find wrestling on TV. So do what?
WWE.
Okay. And so you eventually, safely, and I hate using this word, guessing that eventually you were able to find WWE and you started watching it. When you first were able to watch WWE on TV, who caught your attention the most that you started following right away?
I don't actually know. I just kind of watched and enjoyed the show.
So you didn't have any favorites?
No. It was just people that I liked or didn't like. It was immersion.
Who's somebody you liked? Who were some that you liked?
Okay, yeah.
There are people that I like now or over time.
Okay.
Who I like over time, and I will come up with something in a minute that I am now really passionate with because of what has been said. So over time, I know ironically, Edge/Adam Copeland is one of them. Ironically, I actually did a thing. Right, school in England, if you're not aware, you've got to do both English literature and English language when you're doing GCSEs, right? And as part of that, they do speaking and listening things. Fun fact, the speaking and listening thing comes up and your assessment comes up and you're supposed to do a presentation about somebody famous. Everybody's thinking, oh God, he's going to do something bus and train related. It was around the time Edge had just found out about his neck problem and had just retired. I ended up doing him and I think I shocked people.
That's cool. Oh, I got a problem with Edge. Right. I got a problem with Edge after that one pay-per-view they did. He had Christian, who's been his lifelong friend in the ring. I know they had feud going on. He's ready to get his head cut off, basically, and Edge's music comes on, and he still does his running around entrance instead of running in the ring. That bothered me.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
big show.
I agree with that.
But yeah, I liked him when he started doing his. He'd come back when I went back to wrestling around the 2010 area. I think it would have been. What year did he win the Rumble? What year did he come back in the Rumble and win?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was.
Thank you, Emma. 2010.
20s, yeah, 20. I forget.
I know. I was back
Emma.
When I watched that Rumble, and shortly after, some of the stuff he did, comical stuff he did until the end of that run, just made me laugh essentially and like. I just then generally follow for years, and then so I eventually. I'm going to give you a little cool. If I'm going to give a bit of real life, I'm going to give a little bit of cool story before I then go on with stuff that I like now. Do you want to know how I got into wanting the WWE Network?
Yeah.
Okay.
So over here in the UK at the time, Sky Sports were the ones with the rights at the time. And they did this syndicated show called WWE Vintage. Right? which would show old matches they had from the archive. I think it was hosted by now what's his face now? I forget the announcer guy, the famous one to do the interviews. Why does my brain always go like that whenever I want to know something? Yeah, him. Thanks, Wanker. And they showed this match that I've since found out it's because WCW aired the show of Jushin Liger versus Ultimo Dragon for a title in the Tokyo Dome. And I remember seeing it and liking it. So fast forward to the year they do NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Fast forward to that year.
All right.
Do you remember the opening match from that one?
I think I do. Was it?
Wasn't it the same two guys? Wasn't it?
It was Ultimo Dragon, and wasn't it?
Yeah, Ultimo and Liger again.
It was Liger versus Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze, yep. Yeah.
Tyler Breeze.
When I found out about Liger being on there, I went, I kind of want to see this. So I bought the network and watched it live.
Nice.
That's the first.
You know what? I think
late at night and watched a match live to my memory.
You know what? I think we need to hire Emma Gray as our wrestling historian because she seems to just have a plethora of information right there. She always has the right answers.
Yeah, I remember moments. I don't remember actual dates.
Yeah, I'm bad about that too.
Oh, I'm good with dates and stuff. You'll get more of that as we go along with this because of me talking about things that have happened and inevitably and people and blah, blah, blah. Strap in, folks. This could be a bit of a while. I swear I'm not torturing Paul. I'm not torturing Paul, but I ran. Let me put it this way, right? From there, I watched NXT. I got into a lot of NXT. I loved it. I'm then, by this point, involved in SL Wrestling, and I'm hearing about these other things. So, obviously, AEW. I currently actually pay to watch AEW live every week, and I pay for their pay-per-views quite happily. I enjoy them. I really enjoy them. Don't get me wrong, WWE is great, and there's some stuff to do, but it's like they make some good choices, but then they make dumb decisions like bringing Brock Lesnar back.
Okay, okay, but hold on though. But before, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna let you continue. But don't you think that AEW lacks in storytelling?
No,
because they're more concerned. They're more concerned about win-loss records.
They don't care about win-loss records anymore.
Yeah, they got rid of that. Yeah.
Oh, did they? See, that's how long it's been.
Then what it is that, okay, their stories might not be as cohesive as that, but they're telling you a story in the ring by putting on this thing. They remember it's more about the wrestling than it is about the silly, eccentric characters or doing anything too stupid. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't a place in wrestling for that, but I also want to remember this is a wrestling match.
Right.
You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, it's all wrestling. That's what I don't.
Yeah,
but
I got quite into NXT. So when NXT Black and Gold was at its peak.
Okay, but wasn't it Jericho at one time that said, "I'm not a what was it? He wasn't an entertainer. He was a wrestler, or he wasn't a wrestler. He was an entertainer. Which one was it? He was trying.
Yeah,
they were trying to do.
He was doing a heel. He was doing a heel run where he was trying to be a sports entertainer rather than being that. It was all a heel shtick. Don't get me wrong, Jericho now is a bit past it, but as a way of setting up a company, how legit is he? You know what I mean?
Jericho, they were saying, is headed back to the WWE now.
I wouldn't be surprised, but considering his past little while, he's near the end of it. He really is.
The problem I have, and it's not even a problem, but I love wrestling. I can watch AEW. Like, I'm not a big fan of AEW because of I think they put a lot of too much emphasis on wrestling. And even though it's wrestling, but it's just all right, let's tell a story. Let me get invested in the story. Like the storyline they did with Strickland and Adam Page. I thought that was actually really good. And if you did more stuff like that, I'm a storyline guy, so I enjoy that. The problem I have with AEW and WWE is the fans. Is that you go on Twitter or X or whatever social media thing you go on, it's WWE only sold 35,000 tickets to SummerSlam. AEW sold 51,000 for like who cares? Like why? I don't get that. Like I'm a baseball fan, right? Like I love the Philadelphia Phillies. They're my favorite sports team. I'm not going online and being like, well, guess what? The Phillies sold out 47,000 tickets and the Mets only served 30. Like no one cares. Like wrestling fans are the only ones that worry about ratings and how much ticket sales there are. It's freaking unbelievable. And if you can't be either, you have to choose a side. And it's just like, dude,
there's only
wrestling.
one place I would say that you look at the ticket sales for whoever comes over and does stuff, right? And you're like, thank God they've both started catching on to this and doing more abroad. It's when they come overseas.
Yeah.
You look at it. I mean, AEW just sold out the O2 the same as WWE did the other year, right? That building was absolutely full. Both times that a major wrestling company have come over and had that venue, it's been absolutely full, sold out in its setup. So I'm like, the only time I see it as you look at it and you can, and I'm saying, all of you shut up, is anybody who thinks, oh, well, maybe WWE shouldn't come over here with a Mania. I'm like, go and look at Wembley. Don't be petty about the detail. Look at how many are sitting in there. Don't tell me you don't think WWE wouldn't sell out soon.
Oh, yeah, 100% it would. WrestleMania will sell itself. You don't even need to have, you know?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And you look at all these... I mean, Emma just mentioned about the arena on Sunday, although I didn't watch and I didn't like what I heard about it. You look at how full that arena was whenever WWE have gone to France, Germany, etc. recently.
Right.
It's worth doing these overseas shows for them. That's the only... that's when it's selling these venues over in America, yeah, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, the only time that I would say of note is when the Bucks got together and did the original, what was it, All In? Yeah. Bucks and Cody did All In, because Meltzer said, oh, well, no one else will sell out a 10,000-seater arena. What did they go and do? Prove him wrong.
Yeah, and then they
said, no.
And then they paid Meltzer to always talk good about them.
Well, I'm not going to go into that, but you get what I mean. That's the only time I'm like, shut up. There is more than just WWE. But it's like, you know, I'm like, now, to me, I think wrestling and real life is in a really, really good place.
Yeah, me too.
Because you've kind of got a bit of everything that you can get accessibly. The only thing I'll say about WWE now is I think they've made a small mistake in going so many different places in America and abroad. Netflix, you see, over here in the UK, if I didn't want to pay Triller TV to watch it live, I could get AEW for free. I don't have to pay a penny. I could get it on tape delay for free because it's on free-to-air TV.
Yeah.
But WWE is now on Netflix over here.
Well, actually, they're moving over and made an even bigger mistake because they're going to be moving over to ESPN.
Yeah, they're moving their
and ESPN is going to bring back the actual pay-per-view thing.
I've heard murmurs now that AEW's partner, they're on Max and that. I've heard murmurs the AEW shows are going to get discounts for members on that soon.
Hey, corporate greed, capitalism.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that you look at it and you're like, the two companies shouldn't run against each other as well. Although I will say, AEW, Paul, I remember you speaking about ECW. Yeah. You're seeing their setup at the moment for their residency. Good God, that is so ECW.
Yeah.
You can tell they were a fan.
I mean, the ECW thing is like a lot of people like. I was there. I did shit for them. Like, you know, I didn't work for them or nothing, but I would help set up stuff and stuff like that. But like, you don't realize, like in wrestling, like back at that time, like you don't realize till now where people are really starting to notice it is how special it was. Like as far as back then, I'm 90s, I'm going to a wrestling show. I'm just going to a wrestling show. I'm not thinking like, oh wow, man, this place is going to change wrestling, because I think for the better part of ECW, they were a lower brand, whatever, but like they changed a lot of how. Like, you don't have a lot of this high-flying stuff now without Sabu. You don't have a lot of this hardcore stuff without a lot of the stuff they did with ECW. Like, it's still, like, it changed. ECW, for being as small as it was, it changed wrestling partially changed wrestling a little bit because things got more extreme. Things got, you have high flying stuff. Like all that stuff was in ECW first. All the cruiserweights that went into WCW that became famous are all in ECW first. So it's like it made a big impact for wrestling.
I think the only thing I will say about the current things is AEW was probably needed to wake WWE up a little bit to make them think a bit more outside the box at times. Because being the only big company in town probably was bad for them. But now there's so many places that a young wrestler could go and get TV work. And you've seen the people that have gone between the two now or gone back to other things or have come from another place because one of the two have noticed them. And made a name for themselves. It's a good time for wrestling, no matter what you're into.
But at the same time, those younger wrestlers are probably looking at WWE and going, yeah, there's more rosters, but WWE is still bringing back, and I hate to say it, some of the old timers. I'm sorry, I realize that people are going to just, Randy Orton, he shouldn't be there. Jericho, he doesn't need to be there anymore. They need to quit bringing and start developing the younger guys like they had to do when that, and I know a lot of people don't remember this, but some of us do, like myself and Paul, when before they went into the Attitude Era, they actually had what was called the WWF Next Generation, where they were bringing up people like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and the British Bulldog and Razor Ramon and Diesel and all that. They were developing these guys to be the future stars, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh well, yeah, they were great 25 years ago. Let's keep them in the mainstream. No, develop your young people.
I think with the ones that are coming towards the end of part of their career, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think those ones are good as, when you put a newer person in with a veteran to kind of make a name out of them, give them a big few. They win or lose, they've still got to, promo against somebody who's been doing this for years and years and years, and everybody knows the name, or they get this big match against somebody that everybody knows their name on a big stage or something. Even if they lose it, they've still got that experience and you've still watched it because you've known this person. I think letting them do that sort of thing is fine, and getting the odd nostalgia pop during a Rumble or something. You know what I mean? Fine.
Right, but like for instance, I don't watch a whole lot of the weekly wrestling because I got disinterested in it years ago.
Yeah.
When WWE become very stale, tried to watch AEW, was okay with it, and didn't realize, I stopped watching because it looked to me like they were more focused on wins and losses, the storytelling and combining it all. But
at one point there were.
But at the same time, being as old as I am, I remember in my opinion, the best era in wrestling, being, watching all that happen, the Monday Night Wars and everything. I can turn it over and I know who Jey Uso is. I know who LA Knight is. I know who Gunther is. I know, and I'm some of the younger guys because they're so over, and that's the ones they talk about. That's the ones you see, and then those guys got me interested again. So I started watching a little bit of it, and then they're still, like I said, I know Randy Orton is a locker room leader. And yes, it was pointed out. So I want to thank Foxy Beth Ann for pointing that out in our chat. And I understand he's been around for a long time, but sometime you have to say, okay, I need to step aside and help develop these guys as opposed to taking a spot away from somebody who really deserves it. I had my time.
I've read, speaking of locker room leaders, Randy at Mania this year had Owens got injured and they had to cancel that feud match, right? I've heard murmurs that it was actually an Orton suggestion to try and get Hendry in. And give him a big moment because he'd gotten so over and the TNA partnership existed.
Right.
I've heard some say that was actually Randy's idea of going and saying, would this even be possible? Or is it we got the TNA partnership? Could you get that Hendry guy? He's getting so over. Let's give him a moment. But yeah, it's wrestling's in a good place overall. Even if there are mistakes being made, there still is at least enough out there that you can enjoy whatever you want.
Yep.
You know what I mean? As for real life, who do I like at the moment? this is something I want to bring up quickly. So I mentioned I have autism and ADHD, right? I recently, in the past year or so, read something that made me go, oh, wow. Really? And I watched one of the promos when he turned up in AEW, and I was like, yeah, you probably are. And this guy's name has come up before. I know he's come up before. Ospreay. Because he's admitted to having ADHD. He's unfair. I can't remember whether they've said he's been diagnosed or whether he's still on the waiting list, but he's convinced he's got autism as well.
Okay.
And all that. And I'm looking at him going, he's such a good wrestler and such good at what he does. Yet you've got all those things. Don't let it show that it doesn't mean you've got a limitation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I've been enthralled with that sort of thing and enjoy. I mean, yeah, I take influences off of other people I watched during the NXT time and stuff like that when I'm doing wrestling. But yeah, that's me with real life wrestling. At the moment, I'm what I enjoy, and you will sometimes see it that I've done that. Actually, I very nearly recently tell you a very, very quick story before something happened that I will not talk about. I very nearly had somebody was having an issue and their opponent nearly didn't show up, right? They were having to do that and they were worried. So to calm them down and do that, this is how much I watched a match and was willing to do something on Abby, right? This would have been for someone that was a friend at the time, and this isn't too long ago. I actually watched a match between Moxley and Hangman on Dynamite, and they did the residency in a theater in Chicago, right? Last week, that was for the world title. You might see influences from things sometimes because I turned around to her and said, look, if we have to do something last minute, because I would happily do it if that person has genuinely got a problem, I'll happily step in. I said, I'll be Moxley, you be Hangman. We'll go and use that kind of attitude of using the arena because we're supposed to be people that don't like each other. That, and it probably would have worked. I take influences from real life, yes. Sometimes. I'm more of a realist.
Yes, sometimes.
But, yeah, I guess I should get into some of the origins about SL, shouldn't I?
Well, that's actually
half an hour now.
Well, that's actually kind of what we were going to get into because we kind of got off the subject a little bit when you were talking about when you said
I told you this would turn into rants.
It's okay. It's perfectly fine. That's why we're unscripted.
I reckon we'll be here for at least another hour at this rate.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing, though, because that means there's a lot to talk about.
Maybe I'll set I don't know.
But when you were talking about, your grandparents got you the figures, you started watching wrestling, and then you didn't really follow one person. You just like watching it in general. So, and then you said for a while you just had a general, I just like watching wrestling, period. So, as your time is going where you're watching this and time is passing, a year, 2 years, 3 years, however, when did you realize that, okay, I really like this person, but I prefer, were you ever one of those that, as long as they're a heel, I'm good, but if they ever turn face, I can't like them anymore? Were you one that it didn't matter?
I tend to connect more with the faces or the good stories or like the people that I enjoy.
Okay. Then let's go in reverse. Then you like somebody that is a face, and was it as long as they're a face, I'm cool with it, but if they ever turned heel, you're like, I can't do that, or were you just like, look, I don't care what their persona is because they can pull either off so well. This is who I like. Were you strictly, no, I'm always for the faces, or did it not matter?
That I'm like, for fuck's sake, you had to turn heel about then, didn't you? Because of stuff I was doing in tag wrestling for a bit, but yeah. And yeah, people do know this is going to come up despite stuff going separate ways. If you didn't know about the underdogs, who we took inspiration from, 3 letters, FTR.
Okay.
It should have been pretty obvious by what we did as a finisher, who we were taking influence off of.
Okay.
But of course, they turned heel, didn't they, this year when we had WPWF tag belts? We were like, damn it.
But at the same time, though, are you still fans of theirs?
I like seeing it when they work a match. Obviously I'm booing the hell out of them, or if I was there, I would be. But it's, I'm still like, you're going to get quality when you see their tag match. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're going to be, they're one of the good teams. And then when they're wrestling somebody else and, one of maybe the newer teams, it's going to be a good match no matter what. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, but like you said, though, but for them, you prefer them to be a face, but it doesn't matter because you're more watching it for the matches themselves, and because they put on quality matches, you can do what you're supposed to do as a fan and go along with the, hey, this is who you're supposed to dislike, this is who you're supposed to like, and you can overlook that while you're watching what they're doing in the ring.
I guess a part of that is as well when you get into doing SL wrestling, you kind of learn and understand some things in the business as well. So. And as I get older and more mature and realize about the storytelling and stuff like that more, you understand it more.
So are you a fan of storytelling? Like all right. So what do you prefer more, the actual wrestling, or do you prefer getting ingrained into a good story and be like, oh, this is going to be great?
What I like is do not make a story too complicated that it becomes ridiculous.
Right. Yeah.
Or too stupid or out there. Without it being like somebody like The Undertaker, where you've got some creepy shit going on, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'll use him as an example, or bless his bloody heart, what Bray Wyatt was doing with The Fiend.
Like what I did with Alex Camino, or like what I did when I wrote that stuff for Alex Camino, where he was where he was talking to posters and mimicking voices.
You get what I mean? Is that you can do stuff if there's that sort of gimmick present, but don't like get to the point of where it's not believable. Don't get to the point where it's
big. What did we just talk about today? Realism.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kimberly.
I also, okay, you wanker. You're still a wanker, but
hold on. You know what? Hold on. I got it. You know what? It just dawned on me. I have a bone to pick with Kimberly. All right, real quick. Let's just get this out of the way because I'm going to forget it because I'm old and my brain only works for minutes at a time. I remember, I think you were there, BK. It was Fusion, right? And, again, like what Kimberly said, a lot of the people are from England, okay? I live in Philly. Mm-hmm. I'm American, and you're right. I have a hard time pronouncing some of the towns that some of these wrestlers in England were from. And I think it was Abbeytude. Where's Abbeytude from, Kimberly? Vermouth?
Norfolk. Great Yarmouth, Norfolk, England. It's not very great, but,
Right. Okay, whatever that was. I remember the first time I did I did the stats, and I'm like, and I pronounced it wrong. She wasn't even in the ring yet, and she's breaking my balls. It's not this, it's this. This is how you say it.
Heat generation.
I'm like, all right, calm down.
Heat generation. Abby, right, okay. Okay, Abby. I'm going to admit something. I'm not very good at being a bad guy. I'm not naturally a mean person. So, Abby, I will do anything for cheap heat. So, you ask about, is it Abby Tood or Abby Todd? I'll say whichever one you didn't say today. Yeah. Or say BK says one, and then Paul says the other. I'll probably say it's what Paul said.
I remember I think it was with BK, and I remember saying, oh, now I'm just going to pronounce it wrong every time she comes out. I don't really care.
Why not?
It's a case of, for me, it's Abby. I just get cheap heat sometimes because I'm not the best. I know how to wrestle a heel match. I know how to wrestle a face match, but it's that confidence in playing a character. If you get what I mean.
Well, it's easy. I think it's easier to be a heel. I think it's, well, for some people,
I disagree with that.
Yeah, it's
the opposite.
Well, it's so easy. Well, I don't maybe because I've been a heel for so long in this thing, but I feel that it's so easy to get people to hate you because it's like, like Triple H said, if you watched it on Real, it's like, with all you got to do is say some convoluted shit and people are going to hate you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for me, it's always been easy because like I could be obnoxious, I could be an asshole, I could be whatever. But like for some people, I think you have to be when you're a face. It's like you have to keep that people like, oh wow, I really love Kimberly. I really love what she's doing. Like you really have to keep that going. And I think sometimes being a face is kind of hard to keep that momentum going before people start getting bored. You know, that's just my opinion.
It's
Well,
a valid opinion, but it also, for some people, I'm like, a lot of people will say that, but then you get somebody like me that I'm not naturally a bad person, right?
Oh, you trying to say I'm a bad person? Is that what you're trying to say, BK? I'm a bad
well, no,
person?
it's you're an act, but you can act. You find it easier to act, right?
It's not an act.
You get what I mean? well, act or not act, I'm not getting into that. All right. I'm going to say is that people like me act. It's a bit more difficult, right? At times, it can be difficult to sometimes play a role. So for me, I've never really. I'm not going to say what, and I'm going to praise the hell out of people that originally had this for Abby, because Abby, I'll go into her origin story in a minute because it's quite funny. All right. Or unless you want me to go on about how she came about and then tell you this one.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Don't worry.
I'll give you the origin stories of them in a minute. But I'll give you sort of my history of stuff for anybody who doesn't know it, because there is some stuff. For Abby, what I really, really, really need is I need to be able to do segments where I can play that character, because I can do in the ring, right? I can wrestle you a face match, I can wrestle you a heel match, right? You know what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
I can get the psychology in the ring. I can work you either. I could turn up after doing this interview and work you a heel match or work you a face match, right?
Huh?
And I could probably do it cold and it would probably be fine, right? But the confidence in actually having that character, Abby has sadly suffered from, be it through my own mistakes or pure fate being a fucktard, situations where I've had something maybe fall away or not go well or end up falling through, where like I've got this thing that maybe would do really well. So like recently, this is not a drama, by the way, this is just a cruel fate. I actually really thank the person that booked this, right, for the opportunity in principle anyway. I had a booking that fell through not too long ago, where it was booked as I wrestle a match against a rival, win dirty, right? Scripted win dirty, cut this promo that I've worked on that's a character promo that I wrote while pissed off. Lol. But it's a character related promo for her, and people have told me since that I've shown it to. And that was actually pretty good. Go and cut that and then go and interfere in the next match and get chased off. Right? That would have been exactly the sort of thing I need to get a bit of confidence of being Abby, you know, and get into Abby. I need a bit of Kim has a bit of me. And Abby, well, thank you, Stephen, AKKC. I would agree with that statement. If she's a good original character, loads of people have done a clown or like a trickster or like another sort of circus act, but none have really done the ringmaster thing. So, you know, that. I may as well give you Abby's origin very quickly, and then I'll give you why I made her when I speak a little bit about Kim a minute. Yeah. So, Abby originated in a fed called Slam City Pro Wrestling, owned by Horses Morrissey. Yes, Horses finally gets a mention in this. It only took me about 40 minutes.
We mentioned Horses a few times.
It took me 40 minutes to mention Horses. Fucking hell. How the hell did it take me 40 bloody minutes to mention Horses? Fucking hell. So Horses and a person called Kristen, also known as Eerie at times, and these two are two of my trainers, by the way. Trainer mentors, by the way. I think you could guess who the third might be. Who else comes up on these? Nope. Who else comes up on these a lot?
Baza Winlow?
Yep. Baza. What? So my trainers overall are Kristen / Eerie, Horses, and Baza. Baza still kicks my ass when he needs to, by the way.
Baza Winlow, man.
Wow.
Every show.
Yeah, his name gets mentioned at least once.
Yeah.
I swear to God, it's almost like it's we know he's real because we've had him on the show and we've actually spoken to him and people have wrestled. But it sometimes kind of makes you go into the thing about the urban legend. You know, how many times can you say his name before he appears or something like that?
I'm probably going to get a kick up the arse for taking 40 minutes to mention those three.
Nah. It's about you, though. It's about you.
Yeah, but there's a reason why I say
but
that.
Let me ask you a question though about it. So, I try to go to shows when I can. You and Joanne Steele have had a long running tag team. So how did you come? Like you and since I've known you, since I've known Joanne was probably one of the first people. Like when I came online, when I came in SL Wrestling, that I actually talked to. You and her have had a relationship as far as either you guys were feuding with each other or you guys were tag team, and that's been going on for a really long time.
I knew this would come up at some point, but yeah. So, right, I'll give you, I tell you what, I'll transition and give you my origin story and I'll link everything in because that's going to be the easiest way for me to explain this, okay? I came from the RP world. I came in, I went to DCWF. I was an ignorant, arrogant shithead. I fucked up. I got fired. There is one video on YouTube, in case it sees channel somewhere of me wrestling, I think Rosalind Duffield. Oh, no, Drewski, I was even worse. You think I'm even worse. I was even worse back then.
Actually, Drewski just said what I was sitting here thinking.
back then it was 10 times worse.
Okay.
Because obviously I didn't know what I was doing and I was being a bit of a dick, right? But I left the RP world because of stuff that fucked up. That I then tried VWE for a hot minute. That didn't work out. Then Samantha Foxy realizes what was happening. Yes, love Samantha. You need to get her on it. Drag her on it. And basically, she took me back over to DCWF to a show because shows ran on the same day. She said, "No, come on, Kim, we're going to DCWF. We're going to talk to him." She knew I wasn't really suiting the VWE at the time. And I sat there. I watched this asshole of a boy named Michael Thomas. Yes, I've just called him a boy. He's really called the man, but he's a heel. He's really lovely guy, but he's a great heel. Great, one of those great heels. Lovely guy to speak to, older fella. Lovely, brilliant fun. My favourite mama's boy. Let me put it this way, right? She took me there, and then by the end of that show, I was speaking to them. I had my job back. I nearly fucked up again, but I was that and DCWF at the time, like doing rookie versus rookie things at times. Yes, TJ, I nearly fucked up. I nearly threw it all away. But they actually paired me and Joanne up because Joanne had just come into DCWF. She got a little bit of training from somewhere else. I think RWA, which now I believe the remnants of that is kind of traceable to Rogue. I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Well, I know when I came in, I've been in. I mean, it's 5 years now. She was in Premiere. That's where I met her.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. What happened was we became. I got in. Me and Joanne got partnered up. We did some test matches. Then we got put in this little micro feud that wasn't really a feud. We did an FPV match. So obviously we've got a relationship building there anyway. We do a few more matches at an emergency, and do a few more things. We're together. She's a heel at the time and I'm a face. So Kim and Joanne actually start off as rivals. They started as rivals.
Yeah, I remember.
And they hated each other. Then what happened was, I can't go into it for obvious reasons. There was some drama that happened and she left. Right about the time she was supposed to be my first FPV. I won the SLCW Women's Championship, which was the secondary title at the time. Think of it as being like the Intercontinental title, right? She was supposed to be my defense because it was I tell you the original plan, and if I sound a little emotional, I'm sorry, because it's still a thing for me.
No,
I've moved on a lot, but I've moved on from everything, and I am moving on from everything. But the story is one of those that things happen, shit happens, wrong place, wrong time. There had been a little bit of drama. Now, I know before there was some drama backstage going on, so Kristen left, which is why another Fed had formed. I'll explain briefly in a minute about Abby. And what happened was the initial plan Kristen had before she left that I was aware of was I would win the SLCW Women's Championship at the Summer pay-per-view, free-per-view. And I'd seen this coming, predictably. I'd actually predicted it coming. I'd seen it, so I prepped myself mentally and all that. And Karma Star would confirm that, 'cause they were involved as kind of helping them understand me a bit, I think.
Yeah.
And what happened was some behind-the-scenes drama happened. Started to do that. Joanne was getting involved in some other stuff. Something happened and she left. She was supposed to be my FPV defense feud. I was supposed to get a story to win, a story to defend, and a story to lose. That's what I was supposed to do. It was a reward for doing so well, because I'd managed to turn around from being a fuck-up to when Kristen comes back around the WrestleFest just prior to that. And I'm in a gauntlet match where I've put most of it together. I'm in 3 out of 4 segments. I've put it together. I've pretty much put it together. I'm the one that put the card together for that. But yeah, some drama happens I can't get into. She's gone. That's when she goes and joins Premier, and we're separated. I'm off doing my own thing. For relevance, I will quickly bring up Abby, because I'll give you her backstory briefly whilst this is going on, because this is going to come relevant in a minute. I know, I told you this would be a while. This is because I have to tell the story. So around this sort of time as well, when Kristen and Horses split off, they create Slam City Pro Wrestling. Wonderful federation. Didn't last too long, but was completely wacky. Health and safety would have hated them. God, that Heaven and Hell match and that. They did the Ultimate X where they've got more of a structure above the ring. They did one of those sort of setups where it was in toilets. They had a pit full of they had a pool full of Lego, a pool full of balls. There was a table made of Lego. Toyland was weird. It's all on Casey's YouTube channel if you want to go and see it. If you want to go and see it, go and look at Second Life Wrestling on YouTube. SCPW should be there in its entirety these days, I believe.
Okay.
It's lovely. But what happens is that Bazza says to me at one point, "Oh, I don't think you could be healed." I was initially just going to join him as a referee, wanting to keep some normality in my life because I just won this championship and I had my support network essentially dying. So at the time, Real Life Me did some voluntary work for a Preserve Railway Museum. Since fallen out with them for a silly idea, but there was that. And I had this friend that sometimes would come and pick me up. If we were both working, he'd come and pick me up in the car and take me there and back for, like, I think a tenner I paid him, right? And we'd have great fun. Now he played stuff on the car. There's this one day that year.
Hello.
Uh-oh. We lost.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, she did talk about the weather when when we first come in here before we went on the air. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, there she is.
Hold
on. We completely lost you.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, now you're finally back.
How long have I been gone?
A couple seconds.
About 20.
Okay, so at the time, I was in the car, right? And I was in a car from a mate whilst I was doing voluntary work. Nearly arrived at work and this Skillet song comes on. Listen to it, go, that sounds really good, right? And I ask him what it was, and I remember it all day, and I come home and I listen to it, and I listen to it again and go, God damn, that sounds like entrance music. It's Skelet Circus for a Psycho. And thus I come up with the idea to do a circus gimmick, and I get recommended doing a ringmaster, because I say maybe a ringmaster, maybe a clown. They say, do a ringmaster. I've never even been to a circus. I have never seen a circus in my life. I've been inside of the circus's building, because I won't tell you my exact real-life location, but I'm somewhere between where Kim is billed from and where Abby is billed from. So I can visit both easily, right?
Okay, all right.
And I have been inside the permanent circus venue in Great Yarmouth, but I have never been to a show. I've never even seen the circus, but I create Abby. And SCPW is great. I mean, there's some problems with it, but I have some great stuff. There are some great matches there. I'm not fantastic there, but I'm early days. Meanwhile, in DCWF, I have a horror show going on, but oh well, because I've lost my support network. Then War Games that year in November, I get the worst news I possibly could have. Yes, I know, Drewski. Anybody who can't see the comments here, Drewski, who's previously been on here, great with music and stuff and all that, says that I'm tone deaf, and he says that he finds it hilarious. Somebody said music did nothing for them, makes a full character based on a song. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of irony, isn't it? But yeah, I'm going through some tough times there, etc. But there's that. But it's all fine. I'm also at the time, or is I end up with the title run at DCWF. It's going a bit nightmarish.
Again?
Do the sponsors while she's gone.
Okay, yes, we will do that. Which one we're going to come in not realizing that...
I was a sole champion.
Told you. Kimberly, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yeah, there you are. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna,
Interference?
Well, you keep disappearing on us, and Mike is in the comments. He said it's raining over there.
I mean, it might be. I don't know. I could put my hand out the window and see if it is where I am.
Okay, so let me go ahead and do the sponsors real quick, and then we'll get back into Abby. All right.
Go do the sponsors.
All right. Okay, I will get to it. Thank you very much. All right, so we want to thank our sponsors for today: Premier Wrestling, Aran's Domain, Limitless Pro Wrestling, aka LPW, Darkstar Radio, where you are listening to us at darkstarradio.com with the Fourth Wall with Paul and BK, and whatchamacallit. All right, so you having a little bit of technical difficulties, which does happen. We completely get it.
Oh dear.
So you're talking. So you're saying that you had never yourself ever seen a circus, been to one, but yet you create a great gimmick for a character that's a ringmaster. So
yeah.
Can you hear now? Hello?
I can, yeah. I've got double voice on again. I can hear.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Okay. So you self-admitted that you have never been to a circus, and then you create the ringmaster gimmick, which is a great gimmick. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The first interaction I ever had was at FPW when when Paul and I were on the tables. And one of the gestures that you use with Abby is where she does a Randy Orton style pose, and then the words, "Are you not entertained?" And the first thing that came to my mind was Gladiator.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing. And I'm not going to lie. At first, I was like, okay, please just let this person be good in the ring, because come on, right out of the movie, everybody knows where it comes from, and then I realized later on, as I understood more of the character, I was like, okay, now it all makes perfect sense. So you did a really good job, and you created a very iconic gimmick in my mind.
Hi, I cut out that time. Hello.
Yes.
God, I love the British weather. We did have to do this on a typical British weather day, didn't we?
Well, I mean, schedules are schedules.
I know, it's just the weather would decide to do this shit. It probably just doesn't want me talking about Abby.
That could be it. That could be it. Probably Paul over to screw with something because he don't want to be called a wanker too many times.
Oi, Paul, you're a wanker. Stop fucking with the weather.
If he was only that powerful. Okay, so did you get the question that I had?
What was the question you had roughly?
Okay, basically based on everything that I saw with my first interaction with the ringmaster, and then learning later on, I know the movie Gladiator comes to mind because of the are you are you not entertained line that is in your ring entrance. Did you get that from the movie, or was that something that you just happened to come up with, or somebody said, "Hey, this works perfectly," and you had no idea until later on?
I'm about to get murdered. No, I stole it.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, at least you admitted it.
I may or may not have been influenced by one of my trainers, okay?
May or may not have.
All right, his name is Basil Winlow. He says, "Are you not sports?
Wow.
Are you not all sports entertained?" So I'm like, "Are you not all entertained?" I mean, it's something that a ringmaster might shout. I guess it works.
I mean, I agree with it. Like I said, once I learned everything else, but right off, I was like, "Damn!" Straight from the movie, really. But I can't say anything because I did a promo yesterday and I referenced the movie line too.
I have never seen that movie, so I've never seen that movie, so I wouldn't have a clue.
Okay.
So yeah, Abby exists because I got dead. As for how did I end up back with Joanne, we met again at a charity show I did last minute with Abby, and we became friends again. I believe, Paul, didn't you encourage her when she was unhappy someone to move on?
Yes.
When you were joining FPW.
Yes.
I was the other one that also encouraged her to join FPW. We'd recently come back into contact at the time, and I was one of the two that encouraged her to join FPW. Yeah, and ironically, we ended up with a feud.
Yeah, she just left Premiere at that time, and I told her to come. Yeah.
And ironically, we ended up with a feud, ended up rivals, and etc. And what happened as to how the underdogs formed, I'll get into that quickly because I know we're nearly at an hour. I told you this was going to go more than an hour, didn't I?
We always go more than an hour.
Yeah, I'm saying this was definitely not going to be the closer to the hour lot. This is going to be closer to the hour and a half, hour and 40 mark at this rate.
Oh, okay.
I might well set a record. You never know.
This is... Yeah, you might. Even though we were talking about that earlier.
So what happened was I went through the feud with Abby, but I was not confident, so I took her off for a bit. And I brought Kim in, much to Paul's hate. Lol. I remember his reaction when I came out for that Battle Royal as a partner. Entry. Oh God, what's she doing here? She's a fat WPWF for partners with FPW. Duh. Surprise, wanker.
I think she's making up for. I think she's making up for a lot of times she hasn't been able to call you that.
Wanker.
Oh my God! See what you start, Paul.
Yeah, I didn't start anything.
Yeah, you did because earlier you had on. Well, earlier you had on that shirt that you showed us a picture of that said on the back of it, it said, "I'm not a wanker." Really?
I had them shirts. They made me them shirts.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we did say that this edition of the Fourth Wall would be Paul's worst nightmare.
Okay, so now that we kind of got the,
I'll get to the tag team forming quickly. What happened was I was going to bring Abby back, and I actually cancelled this return. Do you know where her return was supposed to be? originally?
No.
Do you remember there being some videos around the time of For the Forces that showed a parrot on a bike?
No.
I'm not going to lie. I'm going to sit here and say no, but I'm not going to lie. I will say no. But then again, as I stated before, I have smoked a lot of weed since then, so it's very possible that I probably even hit the play button. I just don't remember it.
And yes, TJ, it did end up reused later on. Though those vignettes were originally made for an original Abbey return, but there was some other dramas going on, so I cancelled it. I was meant to come out. There was a match on For the Forces between Suplex and Stacey Driller, right? You'll notice if you watch that match, there is a piece where there's a bit where Sue is kind of hesitant up on the turnbuckle. That's because that's where originally the final vignette was supposed to, where Abby was supposed to come out, attack her, cost her the match, and then continue to attack her afterwards, and they were supposed to have a feud. I think we were going to have basically a Singapore cane match, but call it something after Krampus, and she was going to hit me with a candy cane. So yes, somebody listening in the chat, you were not the first one to come up with the idea.
I think that was also the show where I was Insidious, Paul was the mouthpiece, and we did that Buried Alive match that we got approved for, and then people wanted to try to smoke us for afterwards.
I think it was, if I remember rightly, there was something about burning and heroes mentioned somewhere. And I think that's what triggered. I think I'm going to admit to you, I might not have helped with that matter. No,
you didn't.
For a simple reason. Right? I was originally not going to be Kim during that cycle. But then when I saw that it was called For the Forces, I asked, look, can I do that? I essentially got the job of giving you the story of the show. I didn't have a storyline as such, but so the 1st of November that year is noteworthy for two things, and I'll say the other one because it's a fact you do not know, probably. I cut that promo talking about history and talking about the wars and that. I ended up basically selling you the theme of the show. If you get what I mean, you know how you get show themes and they don't always support them, because the show was themed after Remembrance Day, which is the I believe you lot call it Veterans Day, maybe.
Yes.
The 11th of November. Yeah. We theme it more a day. It's one of those. I always remember it as it's something along those lines, right? But I know you have a day for it as well, and we call it Remembrance Day, and the nearest Sunday, Remembrance Sunday. Hence the poppies. It's the image of it. I sold the theme of the show, and I came out to a special entrance, which I have since redone. And fun fact, everything I say in that, although it's complete bullshit, I don't actually have ancestors named that. And yes, I was very, very cheeky with what I called Kimberly Smith's grandfather, great-grandfather, or whatever it was. I think it was great-grandfather. Yes, I did name him John Smith. Yes, I did get that from Doctor Who.
Well, see, the thing about it is that I myself am a real life veteran, and I wrote that story, and I put that match in. Now, the reason, had I took offense to it, or I even thought about it had been something taken offense to, I would have taken that out of it.
Yeah.
However, the thing is, and it was an oversight on my part, yes. However, and I'm not justifying it because I did what I did, we did what we did how it was written. So yes, I will take the blunt for it. Yeah. However, the only thing, and this does not justify what I did, it's just the truth. Even though the actual day was on Sunday, we don't actually recognize it as far as being a complete holiday until the next day, Monday.
Yeah.
So that was why it didn't really. That's why, because I was like, yes, I know it's on this day, but we actually honor it on Monday because that's people get the 3-day weekend and things like that.
Is this the Buried Alive match?
Yeah, this is the.
All right, so let me tell you. I'll tell you the full story. So we knew that it was going to be an issue, and we went to the people in charge and said, "Hey, I know this show is like Remembrance Day, whatever it was. Do you want us to do this on Monday or Tuesday instead of doing it then?" Okay.
Yeah.
And I was told, no, it should be fine. Everything should be fine. Knew what we were doing. And I'm like, okay, we went and did it. And then afterwards, we got a ton of heat.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that I respect everything that happened, and I'm never dissing on it for what it was. I think it's one of those, and I've recently experienced something in the RP world as well with the same of, you'll write something and you'll think in your head, oh, this is a good idea, this is going to go over great, and this is going to look great, and this is going to be that. And then when you go and give it to an audience, or you go and give it to your peers, or go and give it to that, someone there is then like, no, that's not that. And then it happens. I'm always scared as that when I'm doing Abby, that I might upset somebody, you know.
Well, the thing that when Paul said we caught a ton of heat, yes, we had some people that said, you know, you could have ended it with a similar thing, but just not the way you did. Okay, I understood that. But what got us the most was the people in charge that gave us permission actually had the nerve to come out and say we didn't know what they were doing, even though everybody knows that storylines have to get approved and this and that. You know, you don't just say, oh, this one, oh yeah, sure, go ahead and do it. They knew what we were doing weeks ahead of time, and nobody ever bothered to say, you know, you might want to reconsider it just to be on the safe side. It was afterwards. It was like, oh yeah, we had no idea what they were doing. They went rogue. Damage
limitation. I'm not going to diss people for anything. I'm not going to shit on people for stuff in the past. But it's like, I know I had something later mismanaged, so doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Yeah,
right, way under the bridge.
It doesn't surprise me. Would you like a fun fact about that, Psycho?
Okay.
Very, 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 very quickly. Speaking of the 1st of November, do you remember Bobby Henderson?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you say a staple of the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
I have wrestled men. I have wrestled in the men's division.
Yes, as Bobby.
Yeah.
From the 1st of November, if you saw Bobby Henderson talking about ladies or justice, then it was me behind the keyboard.
Okay. All right. So now I get to present this question to you, just as we presented it to Foxy Beth Ann when she was on.
Oh, Jesus.
You being a male behind the screen.
Yeah.
What made you basically choose to play a female avatar?
I've got nothing against these people, but I thought all the male avatars looked like stereotypical gay snobs that were default avatars.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
I've got nothing against them. I love those people, but I just, you know, there's that stereotype in film and TV and games and things like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, the default avatars kind of look like, to me, they look like stereotypical gay snobs. Whereas if the female ones actually looked more realistic. So I was like, yeah, and the RP I wanted to do probably was better to be female anyway. So
that is the first time I have ever heard. Oh my God. I was not expecting that answer. Okay.
Stop them! Yay! I probably should mention one thing. In all honesty, speaking of me and stuff, I have nothing against that, but I'm just like the default ones that Linden Lab provided at the time. You go and look at the default avatars. Have fun. Go and look at the older default avatars and tell me you don't see at least one of them looking like a gay snob.
Okay, hold on.
If it's a stereotypical one.
Okay.
I've got nothing against them.
Now, hold on. Now, you can't say that every female beginning avatar looks great, because even though there is one that is forever going to hold a place in everybody's heart,
Ruth.
And everybody knows. Yes, Ruth Resident.
Horses, Morrissey's greatest gimmick. Horses' greatest gimmick. Ruth Resident.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that fucking was brilliant.
That was
I've wrestled Ruth on both of me.
Oh, really?
Very, very quickly, so SCPW, we did the title tourney thing, and we realised at like 3 o'clock in the morning that we were 2 people short.
Oh.
So she said to me, this is for a show on Saturday at like 9 o'clock at night UK time. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning on the Friday. And she's like, are you doing anything tomorrow? No. Why? Do you think you can wrestle like a 2 or 3 minute match? Yeah, I've got one more avatar. Okay. And then she brings on Ruth Resident at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, what the hell did I just agree to? And it was actually quite fun. And then, of course, the hilarious thing, speaking of For the Forces, is you have Kim do this super serious entrance to sell you the show. And then, of course, the brilliant thing is her open challenge opponent is bloody Ruth.
Right.
Talk about going from the most serious thing ever to the most hilarious thing ever.
Yeah, that is. I'm sorry if you, and I know most of us here have, but if you have not and you're listening, you get the opportunity. You have got to find a video somewhere of Ruth Resident at her best. The thing about it is, though, is the gimmick is so great, but we can all feel the pain in our souls with the constant crashes and the lag, and we can all feel it.
Just go and look at FPW For the Forces. That'll do. That'll do. You'll get the great react. Go on Casey's channel. Look for FPW For the Forces. That'll do. You'll look at it's the opening contest there, so it's nice and easy to find. Just go past the little silence, and then you'll find me. You'll know you'll get to the match because you'll see me standing on the stage with a gun on my back doing a salute.
Okay. So speaking of matches,
what is the best match of my life? Is that what we're about to ask?
No, actually, I was going to ask who's the one person you never want to work with again.
Nah, we're not going to do that one.
Okay, all right. So let's go ahead. Yes, favorite match you've ever had.
I am going to have to bring up the one legendary thing I have ever done. And this is because this is the only way I'm going to be able to bring it up. Now, context here. You notice I'm wearing a coat stood here. Kim is sat here with a coat on her. Yes, this is part of my costume for my alter ego gimmick. I'm usually the underdog from the Underground, Kimberly Smith. Underground fighter, blah-de-blah-de-blah. From the London Underground, hence why my logo looks like the London Underground logo. Yes, that is intentional. I occasionally at charity shows or Halloween, I play the, yes, Drewski, you're correct as to what the hell I'm about to mention. Now, I play the Doctor from Doctor Who. Sometimes that. Casey made a lovely pair of videos. Wonderful, that look like title sequences. So, there's that. Now, you've heard me say I'm a bus and train enthusiast, okay? So the first time I go to do the Doctor gimmick, and I haven't quite got the full attire. I've only got Jodie Whittaker attire costume at that point. I've evolved it, and eventually by the 50th anniversary one, it was complete to what you see today. And yes, I do wrestle in the jacket when I do the Doctor now. Lol. It's quite funny actually. So it's me and horses, where it's billed as Horses Morrissey versus the Doctor. She doesn't know it's me in character, right? On a charity show. And what happens just beforehand is she messages me and says, I'm so sorry. I'm like, what do you mean you're so sorry? The theme for the film Mutiny on the Buses then starts playing. She's got this cardboard bus thing round her. So she's coming out to the ring with a bus round her. Right? People are laughing their bloody arse off. I then come out as a Doctor. We have this match. Right, during it, Winthorne is dying of laughter. Johnny LaMonaco is very clearly not keeping a straight face. If he tells me he was keeping a straight face during that, I'm like, fucker, you're not. Drewski is over-exaggerating everything like hell. And here's the fucking kicker. Coy, the alien, right? That's usually kinky as hell.
Wait. An alien?
Yes, Coy for a while until recently played an alien character, okay?
Okay.
Now, normally, Coy says some absolutely wild things and some absolutely random things and some absolutely sexual things. She was the bloody voice of reason for it.
Oh,
So by the end, I've got Winthorne dying of laughter. I've got Johnny LaMonaco. You are clearly not straight-faced right now. No, you are not. Drewski, you are very clearly over-exaggerating everything and having an absolute blast. And Coy is sitting there being the voice of bloody reason. I have no idea what the hell would.
I'm sorry. I'm sitting here looking at this thumbnail that Emma has put into our open mic channel, and I'm reading and I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm reading where Drewski says it doesn't help that Horse's bust that she is wearing is making the little kid vroom vroom sounds. Okay, if you're listening to this on Darkstar Radio, you've got to get over here. You've got to get onto Second Life Wrestling on YouTube, which is Casey's channel, and you've got to check all this out. Or just join us in our channel, or just join us in our channel, and we got it posted right here.
If you do go on Casey's channel, just type in the Doctor, and you're looking for Horses Morrissey versus the Doctor from 2020. That match is about 5 years old, and it's the only thing of legend I have ever done. Abby, if you were to ask about matches on Abby, it's anyone where I have made an impact and people have gone and remembered it, or things have gone really well. Basically, anytime I do a bloody stiff match or a decent match with her, where I come away happy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we've come to that time again. If you have any questions, make sure that you let Paul or myself know in a direct message. Please do not put them in the open mic area because they might get lost. If you want to ask your question yourself, just let us know, hey, I want to ask it on air. If you don't, just tell us what it is, and we will get it out there, and we will get as many of them read as possible. We are sitting here today with Kimberly Smith and Abby Tude, stated before, two staples in the women's professional wrestling division in the SLWC. Very proud to have them both here. Been learning a lot about the person behind the avatars and what got them into wrestling and the perspective in which they have. It has been a very enlightening thing, and I think we got Paul over here a little bit nervous because you've only called him a wanker a few times, and we've been building this. Wanker. But anyway, all right. Hey, look at this. Imagine that. Would anybody like to guess who the first question is from?
Is that name Mike?
Yes, it is. It is Mr. Mad Mike. And now I'm going to read this exactly how he printed it, exactly how he sent it, okay?
I hope you have not asked me anything weird, kinky, or mad.
Well, if you refuse to answer, then that just makes us all wonder what kind of secret you two hold between each other.
God.
So be very careful. Okay, so here is the exact... Okay, it says one question. Now, we know Mike never has one question, okay? One question that is tongue-in-cheek. If I find you a gruff-looking male avatar that is a total opposite to a, quote, gay snob, would you use it or wrestle as a male? And why are you about to give, and are you about to give a reason to say no?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, if somebody gave me back Bobby Henderson tomorrow, I'd go and play him.
Okay.
Because I know exactly what I would do to change his image.
Okay, what is that?
Well, I'd make him more like, right. How many people have seen Life on Mars? The TV show.
Oh, no, never seen it.
Right, let me see if I can find a GIF, shall I?
Oh, God. What? Mike, look what you started, man. Got him looking for gifts. Oh, wait.
There you go.
Okay, what is that? Okay, so that is
Dean Hunt. Dean Hunt.
Okay.
I would make him more like Hunt. I'd make him properly a 70s style detective and go and get the ladies and just have a laugh with it. Not be super serious. Probably get beaten up a lot. So, fun fact while I have Bobby Henderson up, right? Now, do you remember David Hawk actor?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah. And he had his old Kenny Carter, didn't he?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the FPW server, me and him have a joke about being detectives in the 70s. All that. I don't know how the hell we had a joke about that. We end up forming a tag team named Justice.
What?
I'm not even kidding. Where he's got a long coat. Bobby Henderson ends up with a long coat, like you see there, the sort of thing you'd have had in the 70s, right? Still wearing his stupid attire, right? They wouldn't let me change that, but they did do a coat for me, right? And we end up coming out to some sort of, I can't remember what the hell it was. I think it was some sort of movie theme. And there's this, we did this thing for the Fusion Band where we filmed a video of us driving around. And I thought they were going to cut it up. Because I drove around a few times just to make sure we get the shots of us driving on the street. Right? And then drove to the arena. I go and sit in the men's call, which has already been a bit chaotic. I mean, I guess I can speak about that night in a second. If somebody wishes me to speak about Fusion Band, please ask me. I will more than happily do so. Wink, wink. And they play this entire thing that I've driven past the arena like 2 times in the 70s looking car. And we all laugh our asses off about it. But there was that. Now, had Justice ever got a storyline, there was this police station on the sim, right? On the second version of the FPW sim. The one that had cells set up in one bit, in another bit it had like an evidence room, and the upper floor were like offices. We said we would have done comedy skits upstairs like we're detectives for the police. Story. If ever we had done that. We wish we'd have gotten a storyline, because if we had that would have, I probably would have been shit at trying to script anything, or whether I'd have played the voice for Bobby or not, I don't know. Whether I'd have gotten someone to do it, I don't know. But we would have done things that are very much a parody of all those 70s cop shows, 70s cop and detective shows, or shows set in that period of time that we do, that we have, we have the thing for. So, yeah, that would have been a thing. But no, to answer your question, Mike, no, I wouldn't, but it's where would I go? What would I do? Who would I be? It's that. It's not that I wouldn't think about it, it's that it's all that. I got nothing against people that are gay, by the way.
I hope that answered that question.
You know the old stereotype where you see it in things where for a while when you wrote something there was like a stereotype for how they'd look or how they'd act, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I felt like the default male avatars looked like that, how my thought of that kind of portrayal would be.
Okay.
They don't look like guys, whereas if some of the female ones look like that. No, Mike, it's that if I was to play a male again, I would love someone to go up to. I'd love someone to go up to what's his face, Stuart Wharf, and say, "Can they buy me Bobby Henderson?" And I would revive him. If anybody wants to go and ask Stuart Wharf that question, then be my guest.
All right. So our next question comes from Foxy Beth Ann.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. Max got another one, but I'm doing these in order.
Oh, Christ. How many's Mike sent in at this point?
I think I'm up to 15. All right. So the question...
2 hours then.
So the question that Foxy Beth Ann is asking is, would Abby ever come out of retirement for a charity show if she were to have the right opponent?
Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I've chosen not to speak. There's a few people that I've spoken to that know about this. So the other week I actually went to Great Yarmouth when I finally had some money to go out on Saturdays like I used to, and I actually chose to go to Great Yarmouth, go open top bus hunting. And you might have seen me post it in the cantina. I actually ended up in a cafe that looked suspiciously circus themed, didn't it? Right? Because it was actually the Hippodrome in Yarmouth. Whilst I do not know when, and I do not know how, and I do not know where, I am intent on not abandoning Abby entirely. Obviously, I took an emotional blow recently. I'm not going to go into things but too much, but as I explained earlier, I had something where I had the perfect thing that would have been brilliant for my confidence, and it fell through. It broke my heart. It genuinely broke my heart because I was having a hard time in the RP world as well, because I've got an alt that was in the RP world until very, very recently. But I was having a hard time, so it would have been the perfect storm. It would have been absolutely the perfect timing to give me that thing and give me that confidence boost it didn't have. So I went away and I did all that, and then I got something and I didn't feel like I could actually portray what I was being asked to do. Now, with me, I will normally take what I'm booked to do, right? I will only say no if I physically can't get with somebody before the match, and it's somebody I don't know and I don't trust, if you get what I mean. Or if there's a problem, somebody, and it's too late to really do something. Or if I am really, really not into something and really, really, really feel like I would be a detriment to trying to do that show. Because we all do this for fun, right? Yeah, we're not paid to do this shit. We're not.
Correct.
We don't do this shit for a living. I do this because I find it fun, and I'm welcome within a community. I really didn't feel it because I just all I needed was that promo. So, and I wasn't being let do it, and it's not me shitting on anybody. I'm grateful for the opportunity and where it was, and still support. While I might I tend to not go to other shows very often. I may or may not go to a show at some point. I will say, and they know who it is, without naming names. I thank you so much for the opportunity and comments on that. Sorry it didn't work out, but I was really in a messy state, and things since it's been hard. I can't go into why. All right, those that are close to me know what's happening. But that's as far as I'm going. Abby, I have, as part of a load of other things, I am going to reveal I have had an offer of help. To help with the character that I am intent on taking. So to answer your question, Foxy Vetern, I do not know where, I do not know when. I will get back to you on that one as to what, but yes, she is not retired entirely. I will someday play Abby again. That is why she is sat here. Is I am confident enough to say that I've not abandoned her, because I knew she was going to come up anyway. You know, you bring me on, they're bound to ask about Abby anyway, etc. Which I must also mention, I'm not just that, I'm also Rail James, by the way, the head of the referee union. Lol. So I'm also a referee quite at times. I'm currently in WPWF reffing. But yeah, Abby's not dead. She's on ice at the moment, because obviously I'm focusing on getting things sorted and moving on from stuff and like stuff with Kim. But God damn it, TJ! Really? Really? A rare fee? Oh, for God's sake. So yeah. All right, next question, BK.
Yeah. Now we're on to another one from Mike.
Oh Christ.
He says, question 2, with your intro with RP, do you agree with mixing RP and SLPW? Then he goes on to say, with SLPW not being a job and just a fun hobby where people hang out IRL outside of this and is mostly a social venture, is it just bound to cause problems when you commit to a role and think like pro wrestlers do and, quote, always been working? My experience is, and it always ends in tears, much like you have experienced. Do you think mixing RP and SLPW holds any value, or should they be kept separate?
This is going to be an extremely fresh one, all right? This has literally happened in the past few days where things have gotten a whole lot worse. I've been, I'm not going to hide, I used to be an RP. I used to do some rather morbid shit on rail. I'll admit, I used to be an executioner, all right? In prison RP. All right, I'll straight up admit that. That's what rail used to do. I left because of a load of drama and shit, and I was less mature. Anyway. Ironically, I believe I did use the name Bus James once for a character previously. Emma. I believe I did use that. Train James is Rail's very obvious alt. She's now just a mess about account, but she was SCPW's ref. I was under an exclusivity contract at the time, sort of. In DCWF had exclusivity. I didn't want to argue about Rail, so I just brought Train in. She's pretty much identical anyway. Wasn't doing anything. With the RP world, the problem is you can be as... I was doing really well, actually. I was being quite successful. I'd actually gotten back to being a warden. Right? And I'd been asked to by somebody. And I was actually quite liked by my team. My team were quite supportive. They loved what I was doing, but I just got betrayed by the owners, essentially. And it's quite heartbreaking because a load of my team were quite upset, I think. So it can work and it can't work. I guess it depends on what kind of RP world you do as well. Some of them are toxic, some of them are cutthroat, some of them are shit, some of them are good. Some of them are drama holes. So I guess it's going to vary by case by case, to answer your question, Mike. But as for Rail, she is a consistent character. She is the same character that I played in my RP world. She's just not killing people anymore. She's just enforcing the rules instead. And being the head. That. The mindset... My mindset was more I want to actually make people happy because I ended up in a leadership role. So I was more focused about the RP being more than what they want to experience with what we offer. If that makes sense. So they could tell their story and experience things how they want to experience it and things like that. But I think wrestling is the nicer place because you all are accepting and understanding of me more than the RP world. So, yeah. Okay, BK, what's next?
Actually, that was the last question we had, and
Bloody
we
hell.
have... Yeah, I mean,
Bloody
really
holy
surprised.
hell, you actually had... You mean I'm at an hour and a half and I just get to say the personal stuff now? Right, if any of you have got another question, hurry up. You have about 30 seconds.
Hold on.
Someone check us out. Oh,
All right, hold on. All right, since you said that, the last minute question come in, and this will be the last question because we are running out of time. Foxy Vetern, this one's from her,
I told you I'd set a record.
And said, would you agree to the point where the ref during the match is a key factor?
Okay, so I'll have to... Finally, I get to talk about Rail. It's only taken me about an hour and a half, nearly hour and 40. Do you know what? I swear, I'm probably just about nearing setting a record at this rate. Lol. So, essentially, with it, I will say this. The referee... You shouldn't be an overbearing character. You shouldn't take away from what the wrestlers are doing. But because of the way we are, right... You need to portray a personality. You're a character yourself. It's not you, the person, right? So having a little bit of a personality is fine. So like, Foxy Vetern takes no shit off of anybody. Faith Doombringer, that's Samantha Fox's one, is goofy as hell. You know, you had Basil Windlow had one. Jimmy Try, he would try and sell you dodgy merch, right, between matches. Right, and be like, can you hurry up? Jimmy's got to do this. It's a little... You don't want to take over a match, but you also don't want to not be a person, if you get what I mean. That make sort of sense?
Yep.
Are you are you a hard referee? Are you kind of more of a goofy referee? Are you the referee that's most likely to take a bump? So it's a bit like how you see the ones in real life where some get the matches that are more goofy, some get the matches that are the one that you're most likely to take the bump, that kind of thing. I did used to run referees in DCWF at one point in time, so it was all that. But it's like that. So yeah, as Foxy Vetern just said there, yes, be a character, but reflects more to the wrestlers. So if a heel wants to argue with you, what kind of way are you going to argue back with them? Are you going to be firm? Are you going to be goofy? You know what I mean?
Well, with the heel, you're usually firm because the heel's always complaining about the count and do your job and, blah, blah, blah. So with the heels...
Is it going to be you're going to shout them, I am the law, my rule is word, or are you going to threaten them with something like Faith does, like threaten them with the finger of doom or the sign or something like that? You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. Did somebody, Charlie Dewfield? Oh my God! Of course, it's going to be Charlie Dewfield, the one that started the whole thing with Trixie.
Charlie, you dick.
He's talking about threatening to finger them.
Charlie, stop thinking about dick.
All right, we're done. We're good. Look, we're not even getting back into that conversation.
Okay. I'm gonna give an outro for something and say I thank you for letting me on. I am a rather humble person. I will say this to anybody, right, who listens to this that maybe hasn't done anything. If you want to try this, it's a very welcoming community. There is a place for everybody in every fed. Even if one fed doesn't work, don't be scared to move on. WPWF was so welcoming when I needed it most. They took me in. I actually got guided there. I actually got told that I should probably try WPWF, and I'm glad I did. It's my home. There is a space for everybody. I'm not here to be a legend. You call me a staple. I just do what I do. I'm not really that much of a staple. I'm nobody important. I'm not here to be a legend or the greatest ever or that. I'm just here having fun because it's something that I happen to be, I'm not going to say fantastic at. I'm not going to say, oh, well, I'm the best ever. But I know in the ring I'm good, right? I know in the actual ring for an actual match, you can trust my ass if you're in the ring with me. That I'm not the sort that wants a world title, right? I, right now, would rather you gave me a secondary title again and let me actually put over somebody new and let me be the veteran, right? Than somebody offer me a world title tomorrow. And that, but yeah, I'm going back into the singles work now, back off on my own. But I do say, as a little closing thing, I do not regret doing the SAG work, right? And one final little fun fact, right? The night I brought them back to WPWF, and this is the one thing that I will say made my day once, right? And then this is a lovely fact to end on, right? From me. It shows why doing this for fun and loving others enjoy it. So the context is it's a match that's booked as Hisatsu, who we call Shits at Zoo, by the way, with Chiyoko and Ri, versus me and a mystery partner. Now, obviously, pretty much everybody worked out was what I was probably up to, and everybody internally, I think I wasn't fooling, right? So yes, it was Joanne. It was the Underdogs reunited. But I had somebody in the audience turn around to me and say, "You just made my day. Oh my God, people we love came back. I've been going through hard times myself, hard RL times, and you just cheered me up." I love it when people do that. And there was someone who enjoyed my Doctor Who gimmick once, loved seeing all of it, being nostalgic for all of it. And I love having fun with everybody. I love that you're all accepting of me. And I love that I get to do something that you all seem to enjoy, do all that. But for God's sake, if anybody tries to say I need a world title, I'm kicking your fucking ass. I don't. No offense to anybody. I am not here to become a legend, because if I did so, I'd complete the Triple Crown Grand Slam in WPWF, and I don't deserve to be on that list. Nope. I do not deserve, nor should be anywhere near it. But yeah. Oh, and P.S. Paul, You are forever a wanker. You forever will be. This has been the fourth wall. You know, with Paul and Beat the wanker. You know, Paul Slater and BK. I'm the underdog for the underdog, Kimberly Smith. That bitch over there is Ringmaster Abby Todd, or is it Abby Tood? And this episode was, of course, Paul's worst nightmare.
There you have it, BK.
Forever. Paul Slater is forever a wanker.
All right. We want to thank Kim and Abby for both being here. It was a lot of fun, very informative. We want to thank everybody for paying attention, for listening in our Discord, and for those of you who watch on YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe and get those algorithms up for us. And we will see you all very, very soon.
Let's call Paul a wanker.